what's up, you guys? Looking for my lower third. Where'd my lower third go? Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. My name's Vina Moreno, and in front of me is the lovely...
Keep using that word.
Greg Tepper.
I don't think you know. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the pre-show for the free show. You keep using the word lovely. I'm not sure you know what that word means.
Lovely?
Yeah, that's... I don't know. Feels like a miss. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show for the free show. I'm Greg Tepper, but I think sometimes I'm better known by my alter ego, and let's see if V&A has the open ready, which he may not.
Wait, what? Oh.
I didn't plan for this.
Hold on.
Do you have it?
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2.
I am known sometimes better as Mr. Masters.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the final round of this tradition unlike any other.
In your life, have you seen anything?
Representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
Hitting them counters and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got...
Hello, friends. It's me, Mr. Masters, with your Masters recap. They played golf in Georgia, and there's a lot of things about the broadcast that I think are fascinating, and I think says a lot about Augusta National. What it says about it, your miles may vary. For example, V&A, do you know that the broadcast cannot call it a golf course?
They can't.
They cannot refer to it as a golf course.
They can't refer.
They have to
it.
refer to it only as Augusta National. They cannot
Really?
refer to it as a golf course.
Okay, I watched this with Mrs. Masters herself, and I learned a lot. I had a lot of questions.
Could you call her Miss Masters? Because I don't want there to be an implication that Mr. Masters and Mrs. Masters are married.
Miss Masters.
Thank you. They also, did you know that the people who attend the Masters, they are not called fans? You cannot call them fans.
Oh, wait. I think they're called, I heard this word. They're called, dang it.
So if you slice the ball into a crowd, it could have hit a patron.
Oh, wait, I would have not thought that.
Yeah, you have to call them patrons.
Patron?
Also, you have the fairway, right? Mm-hmm. But if you hit it off the fairway into what is known at every other golf course in the world as the rough, you can't call it the rough. It's called the second cut. All of this is nonsense, of course. But all that is to say that we need to put a bow on this. Congratulations to Rory McIlroy, who becomes just the fourth man to repeat as Masters champion. He did the Obama giving himself a medal meme.
He did.
Where he gave himself the jacket.
Yeah.
And many people are wondering, hey, what happened to my pick? You may remember that my pick was Cameron Young. Cameron Young, noted Catholic, I found out.
Oh.
Big Catholic energy.
Catholic's on top?
Goes to mass every Sunday before a final round.
Amazing.
It's true.
Wow.
Catholic's back on top. But unfortunately, Cameron Young he was tied for the lead entering Sunday. And I know for a verifiable fact that our colleague and friend Ashley Pickle was punching air, was seething, was real mad.
She was nervous.
Because we were on the cusp of Mr. Masters once again predicting the winner of the Masters. Unfortunately, I believe he shot a final round 73 plus 1 and ended up finishing tied for third. So he brings home $1 million. Yes, that's true.
Really?
He brings home $1 million.
Wow.
Yes.
What?
Rory brings home 4.5. Yes. So for finishing tied for third, Cameron Young goes for $1 million. Now look, am I happy that Cameron Young came in third? No, because as a philosopher once said, if you ain't first, you're last. Now, do I think that correctly predicting a top 3 finish is pretty good? Yeah. I'm going to give myself, Mr. Masters, I hold myself, much like Augusta National, which is not a golf course, it's Augusta National. Much like Augusta National, I hold myself to a high standard. I expect excellence. So, I'll give myself a B. Top 3 finish, I think, is a B grade for my pick. But the great thing is that I'm trending upward. Last year, I believe my guy finished in the top 10. This year, my guy finished in the top 3. That means next year.
Mr. Masters, I have a question.
Yeah, certainly.
Did you watched the tournament, correct?
No.
Got it. Okay.
The Rangers were playing the Dodgers.
Yeah,
yesterday.
they were. We won yesterday.
DeGrom was dealing. Congratulations to Rory McIlroy, the winner of the Masters tournament, held this year at Augusta National in Georgia. Till next time, friends, I'm Mr. Masters. Hit the theme, Expo. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a program with golf fever. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, at the controls. She's got she's got 10 and 2 on the wheel. Mm-hmm. She's got, just perfect, playing great defense, good tarp job. She's our friend Vianney Moreno. Hi, Vianney Moreno.
Hi.
I introduced Vianney to I-5 commuters last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably... Yes.
In
yes.
the rain, dude.
Yeah, it's been a lot of...
I-5 commuters, I think on TikTok. A little twist in the strap.
We were on the road.
Yeah, we were on the road.
We were on the road.
We were on the road.
Secrets.
Anyway, today is Monday, April 13th, 2026. Ooh, it's April the 13th. Monday the 13th. Ooh. Is that not? Okay. Happy birthday. I'm sorry. It is only...
Scott.
No, it's not Adam Scott's birthday. 227 days till Thanksgiving. When is Adam Scott's birthday? Scott.
It's every
Adam
day.
Scott's birthday is... Oh, we missed it. April 3rd.
What? You're kidding me.
Happy belated birthday to Adam Scott, who is 53.
Aw. What a guy.
Also, happy birthday today to Thomas Jefferson. It is episode 227. On today's show, folks, we got headlines from across the state of Texas, including a flurry of Texas high school football coaching changes. One so late breaking that I didn't even give it to V&A to put on the Chiron.
What?
Yeah, came down
You
after
send
I
it?
sent it to you. No, I didn't.
Okay,
I'll just say
well,
it out loud.
Okay.
We got that. And then back half the show, I'll be joined by Carter Yates, young Carter Yates, who is going to talk us through a little bit of what's going on. He's got his Spring Previews series up on TexasFootball.com, class by class. I got a couple questions for him. We're going to chat about Texas high school football, spring ball, and things that he's watching across the state as we head into spring, into summer. We got a lot to talk about here on this here episode 1929. So thanks for being part of this. Do we have first four through the door? You're holding up your computer.
Yes, I
you
am.
are.
I have to prepare for this. We have Red Eyes, Rod Jarman, Tony Blaylock, and Matt Stepp.
Matt Stepp, who, by the way, will be in studio later today
Cooking.
to
In the stew.
he'll be in the stew later today to record Tepper and Stepp, coming out Wednesday, right?
Yes.
The podcast will be out tonight, but the video version will be on Wednesday, wherever you watch this.
Subscribe.
Make sure you go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up on Tepper and Stepp later today. Alrighty, VNA, let's get to some headlines from across the state of Texas. And a flurry of headlines. Last Monday, you may remember, we took a break from headlines because, quite frankly, there was a bit of a slow week of coaching changes. They made up for it this week. A lot to get to. I will start with the one that was most late breaking that I wanted to make sure we mention, and that is that Lorena has made a change at head coach. Lorena has announced that their head coach, Kevin Johnson, is moving into an administrative role. Kevin Johnson is going to be their director of HR, and they have promoted their assistant coach. It's Jeff Peevehouse. Jeff Peevehouse is going to be the new head coach of the Lorena Leopards. Kevin Johnson did a very strong job there with Lorena, moving now into an admin role, and so it will be new athletic director and head football coach Jeff Peevehouse there at Lorena. That is some late breaking news here. Wanted to make sure we get that out into the open. Okay, let's get to my headlines from across the state of Texas. We'll start in Denison. This was a job that we had kind of circled because of, I think, the high-profile nature of it. You may remember that Denison has been looking for a new head coach since Brent Whitson left to become the athletic director at Salina. He was the new athletic director at Salina. They have made a move, Denison. And we mentioned, one of the things that I mentioned that I was watching in this coaching search was that there is a big alumni base at Denison that have a lot of pride in that job, have a lot of pride in coming back home. So the only thing I said, I didn't have any inside information. This was just me spitballing. I said, keep an eye out on alumni. And sure enough, they have hired an alumni, but it is not an alumni from within the state of Texas. They have hired Brian Lilly to be their next head coach. Brian Lilly is a native of Denison, a graduate of Denison High School. And he talked with Matt Stepp, said this is a realization of a lifelong dream. He's a guy who played at Texas State collegiately and had bounced around Texas. He was an assistant at Round Rock Cedar Ridge. But most recently, he left to go join the staff. He went to Tennessee, where he was an assistant at Brentwood Academy there in Tennessee. He spent a year at Cisco Junior College, then back to Tennessee, where most recently in 2023 he was the head coach at Lawson High School in Nashville. That is a new program. That was kind of launching a program there in Nashville. Led them for 3 seasons and then came back. He was slated to become the Plano defensive coordinator. So he was already coming back to Texas, right? We knew he had resigned his post there in Tennessee. He was coming back to Texas. And Denison comes open. He goes, all right, I think I'll put my name in the hat for my old alma mater, the old alma mammy. And sure enough, Brian Lilly gets the job as the head coach there at Denison. This is a guy who, if he talked with Matt Stepp for TexasFootball.com, said that back in 7th grade, he was a ball boy for Denison, right? This obviously means a lot to him. And so a guy who is very passionate about that program, Denison has found their new head coach, Brian Lilly, coming back to Texas. We knew he was coming to be a defensive coordinator, now head coach there at Denison. Congratulations to him. Another job we had our eye on was in Needville. We mentioned that Mike Giles stepped down after 12 seasons, did a fantastic job there at Needville, and opened up that job. And both Matt Stepp and I kind of threw up the flag and said, hey, keep an eye on this job. Keep an eye on Needville, because while you may not think of Needville as in the same way that people think of Duncanville or North Shore or Lake Travis or Midland Lee or anything like that, Needville's a very attractive job because Needville has a big burgeoning area. It is a growing area. There is a ton of upside at Needville. And they have made their hire. They have hired Jared Sloan to be their head coach. Jared Sloan most recently was the defensive coordinator at Magnolia West. He does have head coaching experience. He was the head coach at Hardin, Jefferson, and Rice Consolidated, both kind of down there. Rice Consolidated. Hardin Jefferson definitely down kind of southeast Texas way. This is very intriguing hire there for Needville. And as we mentioned, Needville, very high upside job. Keep an eye on them over the next couple of years. There's a ton of growth in that area. Very interested to see what Jared Sloan does. Jared Sloan, the new head coach there at Needville. Let's talk about Marlin. Marlin is they're in kind of the greater Brazos Valley area, Central Texas area. Has been looking for a head coach after two seasons. Jeff Rogers, who had a terrific 2024 season and a step back in 2025, stepped down. And they have gone and hired a state championship assistant. They have hired Richmond Randall defensive assistant Eris Gaines to be their next head coach. I probably don't need to tell you that, like, hey, good coaching tree there. I mean, they won a state championship back in 2024. They went to another state championship game last year in 2025. Eris Gaines now gets an opportunity to be a head coach there at Marlin. This is a really intriguing hire, a very high upside hire, I think, for Marlin. I think that speaks to the ceiling at Marlin. We've seen that recently. Back in 2024, that was a 10-win team. That was a regional finalist in Marlin. So Eris Gaines, the new head coach there of the Marlin Bulldogs. Let's talk about Abernathy. That was one of the more intriguing I think I put in my top 10 most intriguing jobs last week. Justin Wiley stepped down to move closer to family in the Abilene area and had done a really, really fantastic job for 6 seasons with the Antelopes. Again, I always say that when programs are going good, it is always a decent bet for an internal candidate. And sure enough, that is what happened here. Keith Bloskis, the offensive coordinator, has been promoted to be the head football coach. Makes a ton of sense. Okay, they're 45-24 under Justin Wiley. They have been really terrific. 6 playoff appearances, a trip to the regional finals back in 2021. I think that makes a ton of sense to stay in-house. That this is a case of ain't broke, don't fix. And I think that they decided to stay in-house, which makes a lot of sense to me. And so congratulations to Keith Bloskis, the new head coach there at Abernathy. Speaking of a program with state championship pedigree, let's go to George Ranch. George Ranch was looking for a new head coach. Casey Vogt left after 2 seasons. They have stayed in the greater Houston area. They've actually stayed in Lamar Consolidated ISD. As Fulshire co-offensive coordinator Jamal Mason is going to be the next head coach at George Ranch. Remember, this is a program that does have state championship pedigree. They did the Richmond Randall thing before Richmond Randall. They were the new program in Lamar Consolidated ISD, won a state championship back in 2015 with that remarkable running game and defense. They have now moved on. They moved up to 6A. It's been a bit of a struggle there in 6A, but Jamal Mason, the now former Fulshire co-offensive coordinator, a guy with head coaching pedigree, former Houston Westside head coach, takes the reins there at George Ranch. That is an intra-Lamar LCISD move there with Fulshire and George Ranch. So congratulations to Jamal Mason. Let's go to the Austin area. Pflugerville Hendrickson has been looking for a head coach. Doug Pierce out after 4 seasons. He went to go take the offensive coordinator job at Georgetown Eastview. They have gone a little, geographically diverse. They have gone and hired the head coach of the Hereford Whitefaces, Coach Adam Nairn, to be their next head coach. This one surprised me. Now, I don't know. I'm going to be entirely honest. I don't know his connection to the Austin area. It's entirely possible he has deep ties to the Austin area. But this one certainly was off of my radar. Adam Nairn has been the head coach there at Hereford for the last 5 seasons, racked up a 24-30 record, taken them to 3 playoff appearances. Now takes over the reins at Pflugerville Hendrickson. So that's a very intriguing hire there. I need to dig in. I'm positive there's some sort of connection between him and Central Texas, kind of the greater Austin area. But Hereford's Adam Nairn, the new head coach there at Hendrickson. Congratulations to him. Houston Sterling has made a move. Houston Sterling has been looking for a new head coach for a little bit of time now. Houston Sterling has been looking for a new head coach ever since Dedrick Carr stepped down. This is going to be the 3rd head coach in 3 seasons for Sterling. They have promoted their offensive coordinator, DeJuan Davis, to be their next head coach. That happened late, or I believe maybe even yesterday. But DeJuan Davis is the new head coach of Houston Sterling. Congratulations to him, promoted from his offensive coordinator spots. And I also want to make sure we mention this. North Dallas has made a hire. North Dallas, the Mighty Bulldogs, my grandmother's alma mater, has been looking for a new head coach. Carlos Perez has been the head coach there for the last 4 seasons. They have gone and they have hired Mesquite co-defensive coordinator Hunter Hensler to be their next head coach. Hunter Hensler will be the next head coach of the North Dallas Bulldogs. Congratulations to him. Of course, we've got all the coaching changes up on TexasFootball.com. If you want to go check those out, TexasFootball.com is where you can find all of the UIL Texas high school football coaching changes. And those are some headlines from across the state of Texas. You know what starts soon-ish? Is 7-on-7. That gets going here, I want to say, early May? That is knowable. That information is also on TexasFootball.com. You know what else is on TexasFootball.com? TexasFootball.com/subscribe. How's that for a segue?
All your dates.
Chimpanzee riding on a Segway. Okay. TexasFootball.com/subscribe is where you can become a Dave Campbell's Texas football subscriber. We are working hard, very hard, on the 2026 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I'm exhausted. 400 pages. We're sending this bad boy to press on May 22nd. I can tell you 0 pages are done, which... concerning, but that's actually where we should be. This is always the point, like 6 weeks out, where I'm like, is there enough time? And there's always enough time. I've done this 16 times now, but I'm always kind of panicked. We're good. Magazine will get done. Make sure you get your copy, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. We'll mail it to you. Makes a great gift. Get it for VNA's birthday, which is tomorrow. So TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Coming up here after the break, Carter Yates is going to join us in studio to talk about his series, his spring preview series across the state of Texas. Got a couple questions for him. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Pour some sunshine with new First Light Community Coffee's first ever light roast. This blend has notes of honey and brown sugar that will brighten any part of your day. Try First Light now at communitycoffee.com.
Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Friday night football is here, and Hometown is trusted by thousands of schools across the nation to make game days effortless. Sell tickets online, easily scan them at the gate, track sales in real time, and keep your community connected with a free athletic website. Make every game a Hometown game. Visit hometown.com to learn more.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? It will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
Back here at Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's VNA. And we are pleased to be joined in studio by the senior high school writer for Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a man that is only unmarried for a couple more months, ladies.
Oh, my goodness.
Carter Yates. So, strike fast. If you've been waiting for your moment, the moments are running short.
For 9 years now, coming up on April 17th. I only got a couple more months to go.
So one of the things that I think goes underrated about getting married, as somebody who's done that once, is you ask her to marry you. Your fiance Kennedy. You asked her to marry you, and she said yes. But you were also holding a diamond ring when you did it.
And there was a camera person there.
So she said yes.
And our entire family was waiting at a restaurant too.
Here's the other thing. you got to get one more yes. You know what I mean? Like that's the first signature. You got to sign and initial, you know?
Well, this is what we always say. You know, we're in the red zone, not the end zone.
Absolutely right.
Red zone offense is very important.
Exactly right. And that's the thing is that, like, it shortens the field, and so the defenses can, like, this is the tough part. So let's not blow it. But, ladies, this is your last chance. That's all I'm saying. Carter Yates is here. We're going to talk about a series you've got up on TexasFootball.com, your spring football preview.
Yeah, I'm about to do a Class 2A spring football preview, so how are you going to tell the ladies to, like...
Ladies,
hold off. Like,
hey,
I've got a Class 2A spring football preview coming up for you.
This dude's talking idaloo, okay? I want to run through, because they're great pieces up on TexasFootball.com with a variety of good nuggets of things that you're watching during spring football. I've got a question kind of for each of them in each classification. I want to start with Class 6A. In 6A, one of the things you do for all these these is Player of the Year candidates. Guys you're watching could be Players of the Year. And fair number of them I think people are going to have heard of, right? In 6A, there's one that kind of caught me by surprise. And it's Jaden Fields, the wide receiver at Hutto. Why was he a guy that you wanted to put as one of the three guys to spotlight?
Well, yes, he is a wide receiver, but this is in the mold of Jermaine Bishop from Willis winning the award last year and the way they can affect the game at all three phases. So he's the district MVP last year, 89 catches, 1,345 yards, 18 touchdowns. That's just on offense. Then he had 50 tackles and 2 interceptions at safety. I think he's getting Division I looks at both positions. And I also love the new head coach hiring. I know you'd say, hey, they're losing Eli Reinhardt. He's an offensive wizard. How is that going to affect Jaden Fields? Well, they got a coach in Casey Walraven from Alvarado who they scored 62.4 points per game last year. They were quietly the best offense in Texas high school football. You add that coach with Jaden Fields, I think he can make some magic happen.
So speaking of the coaches, one of the other things you've got for each of these class previews is an intriguing new coach. Coach in a new spot. And a couple of guys, and again, some of these are I think, no-brainers. In 5A, I think Steven Jackson going to Lancaster. For sure. All eyes are going to be on him. But there's another one there that caught my eye out at White House in 5A. You got Brett Gilchrist at White House. Why was that one of the most intriguing coaches?
Because you're marrying Frisco Lone Star's offensive coordinator, who they put up 47 points per game, 467 yards per game in the last 4 years with him at the helm, and you're putting them with Patrick Mahomes' alma mater at White House. So that's just, I feel like a match made in heaven. I also think it's intriguing because he's only 29 years old, so a very young head coach. But his father's Kenneth Gilchrist, who's been a longtime head coach for 17 years. We're talking places like Whitney, Frisco Heritage, now the new head coach at Prosper Richland. I also think it's intriguing because White House has not had a double-digit win season since Patrick Mahomes was there. But Brett Gilchrist has said he thinks the skill positions are going to be the strength for them. And I'm looking at 2 second-team all-district performers in the secondary in Malachi Allen and Carmelo Perkins. And then a skill position hybrid guy and an edge rusher named Kadavian Perkins, who's 6'2", 240. So there are some pieces there. I'm not saying year one they're going to go 12-1, but Brett Gilchrist has proven he is a bit of an offensive wizard himself and can maybe get White House back to the land they used to occupy when Patrick Mahomes was there at the helm.
Carter Yates, our senior high school writer, in talking a little spring football here on Texas Football Today. We involve the conversation, #TF Today. All right, on to 4A. And a lot of, I think 4A is always, to me, the most interesting classification because it's kind of like the comings and goings of teams. And it's the place where you've got the small town meets the big prospects. Yeah. One of your Player of the Year candidates, you even call him a wild card in your pick. Tell me about Kamarian Wiggins, the quarterback of their Bay City.
So I picked 15 total Player of the Years, 3 for each classification. This is by far the biggest wild card I threw out there. And I mainly just fell in love with the stat line. So he is the Texas Sports Writers Association All-Purpose Co-Player of the Year. He's got 34 touchdowns at quarterback. You say, wow, okay, like 34 passing touchdowns or maybe 30 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. No, he has 1,443 passing yards and 16 touchdowns, 834 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns, 230 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. So this guy is literally doing it in all 3 phases. I think it's almost a disservice to put him as quarterback. And I should have put him as athlete if I didn't on the article. But I also love how Bay City is 12-2 and 9-3 in the past 2 years. I think one of the most underrated programs in Texas high school football that we aren't talking about from a statewide level as much as we should. They returned 8 starters. Yeah. Does Kamara and Wiggins count for 3 returning starters?
Yeah, I think he counts for 3.
So they actually have like 5 returning starters.
They've only got 6 guys coming back, like total, but like Kamara and Wiggins counts for 3. A fascinating player. I'm really excited. I'm glad you spotlighted him. Another thing in the 3A ranks that you put together, and you do this for all the teams, is teams that didn't make it to Arlington last year that you think could make it this year. Now, a couple of these I don't think are a surprise. In 3A, you have Gunner. You're really out on a limb.
I know.
Even moving up, but still really out on a limb. It's a team that's made, I think 5 straight state championships. One of them, though, was East Bernard.
Oh, yeah.
East Bernard in the 3A ranks has got your eye heading into 2026.
And it's interesting. I picked them. I'm sorry. I don't mean to pat myself on the back. That's a really interesting pick by Carter Yates.
Pick me.
They had the most improbable Texas high school football playoff run last year, I think. They started 0-3. They closed the season out with a 59-6 loss to Tidehaven. Coach Jeremy Jenkins said was the worst loss in East Bernard history. Like, there was a running clock in the second half. And then they proceed to beat 3 top 10 ranked teams in the playoffs. It starts with Poth, where they have the double reverse lateral kickoff return with a minute left. That was the Dave Campbell's Player of the Year for the Davies Awards. Then they beat Lexington, who was number 10 ranked. Case Evans is Penn State quarterback. They were awesome. And then they avenged the Tidehaven loss. A month later, Tidehaven was the preseason wire-to-wire, it felt like, state championship favorite. And the chutzpah you got to have to lose 59-6 in the worst loss in your program's history, a month later come back and beat those guys. I thought that was remarkable, but Coach Jenkins had said last year when we were doing stories on them, like, these guys don't know how good they are yet. I think this year they're coming into the season knowing that East Bernard's back, and I just love some of the pieces they have. I mean, Amari Jones is a super underrated potential Division I talent at both wide receiver and cornerback. 70 catches, 1,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions last year. And then Luke Anderson, 6'2", 190-pound running back, linebacker, 1,100 rushing yards, 89 tackles. And then they have a question at quarterback, Tepper. So last year it was Dan the Man, Dan Bartlett. All 6'1", 130 pounds soaking wet of him, who was awesome.
Yeah, an accountant's name.
This year they go to Max Mangum, who is a Texas State pitching commit. He is 6'5", 240. He played tight end last year, so he's stepping in.
The more I think about it, the more East Bernard, and it's not just because it's kind of a similar-ish part of the state. I wonder, they remind me a little bit of like 2023 Ganado. Remember when Ganado upset Refugio, avenged a huge loss in the regular season, avenged that loss in the playoffs, made it to the state semifinals. I wonder if maybe, because that was a hop skip before next year they won the state championship. I wonder, that's a really, really good pull. So finally, I want to talk 2A. And in each of the classifications, you have newcomers to watch. Of course, it's a UIL realignment year. There are programs that are moving into the classification, moving out of the classification.
I'm still trying to get clicks off realignment,
I get it.
basically.
We're all trying to get farm clicks off of realignment. TexasFootball.com, please.
Eating click tacos tonight, baby.
We're starving. One of the newcomers you have to watch in 2A is Brady. This is a program that is dropping down from Class 3A after a couple of really successful years. Why does Brady catch your eye?
Well, there's a lot of teams that drop down from 3A to 2A or just drop down any classification, and they're intriguing because it's like they have athletes, they just don't have the quantity of players, and they might be better suited off in 2A. But Brady is a team that made the playoffs each of the last 7 years in Class 3A, and they were doing that with lower numbers, obviously, because now they're a 2A program. But I just love the linebackers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen they have, because that is normally the biggest jump from 3A to 2A, or the biggest like difference is the skill, the offensive lineman, defensive lineman they have. And they've got Nasir Menafield, who's a 4-year starter on offensive tackle and nose guard, the reigning district co-MVP. Do you know how hard that is to be a district co-MVP as a nose guard and offensive tackle? It usually goes to the sexy positions, quarterback, wide receiver, something like that. That just shows how dominant he was. And then Johnny Roque had 134 tackles at linebacker. So those big-time positions, they've got returning guys coming back, and I think they can make some noise in Class 2A.
Yeah, that's a really savvy point, because that's one of the things that I think I'm always watching is when teams move up or down. And especially when they move up, the question is, how are your hog mollies going to match up? How is the offensive line, defensive line, and kind of up the middle going to match up? It was like, this is a reference from yesteryear, but when Argyle was moving up, I was very confident that Argyle was going to be strong moving up to 5A because, well, they're always really good up front. Yep. That's one of the things. And I think that's one of the interesting things about Brady is they're going to be really solid up the middle, and that, I think, kind of sets him up for some early success in Class 2A. He's Carter Yates. You can find his spring previews, spring Texas football previews on TexasFootball.com, as well as other stuff. He's just writing all the time. We've asked him to. We politely asked him to stop, but he won't. He won't. He just loves.
They turned off my
game.
key card too.
He loves the game.
I'm scaling up the building to get to the second floor to write the 2A preview.
There's the people the company downstairs, whatever they do. You're knocking on the door, please let me in. I promise I work up there. Carter, thanks for stopping by, man.
Anytime.
Let's go to VNA Moreno for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
Oh yes, hello.
Wait, can I stay for final thoughts too, or you kick me out?
No, actually, please get out. I'm just kidding. Hi guys. I am. Well, let me get the.
Can we get a weekend check from you?
Weekend check. Did lots of hanging out with some friends. Did dinner. There's this place called Postino's in Southlake.
I'm very familiar with it.
Yes,
I've been. There's another one in Addison. I went to that one.
Yes,
I've been to that one.
Very, very good. Worked out.
Rad.
Catholic doing Catholic things, and now I'm here listening to Tepper Yap.
Can I tell you yesterday, quick movie review?
And the Masters. Wait. I watched. This was the first time I ever watched the Masters all the way through, with Miss Masters, and I'm pretty proud of that. So,
do you like golf now? Okay.
No, hey, VNA, congrats. Thank you for your service in watching the most popular tournament of all time.
Yes, literally, there's I think somebody said there's if you go to the 100 most watched events in a year, 92 of them are football games, and the other 8 are the Oscars. It's the Emmys maybe, and a State of the Union, if the president speaks, and one of them is the Masters. So thank you for. Thank you for doing the dirty work and watching CBS coverage.
I had the best.
Great.
I had the best day ever yesterday because my fiance, we've previously mentioned, NICU nurse. Right. Again, I see people in the comments. Her job infinitely more important.
Oh my gosh!
It's a lot of perspective.
Boy,
there.
yeah. I mean, it's my wife is an elementary school teacher. She has a very important job, and God bless those teachers. And also, I think even they would admit, okay, NICU nurse.
Yeah.
Clears.
When I come home, I'm like, my TikTok just didn't do numbies today. I thought the algorithm didn't shine on it.
Yeah. Tough.
So she got up at 6 a.m. to go to her 12-hour shift. And I woke up and had the plan of I'm going to go get the groceries. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to be productive today. She accidentally, bleary-eyed, took my car keys and apartment keys. So I couldn't go anywhere, and I had to watch the Masters all day and DoorDash Wingstop.
Oh, no.
So I got the credit for having those plans to be a productive citizen, and I couldn't go anywhere.
Babe, listen.
I had to watch the house.
Best of intentions, but this NICU nurse is cutting the legs out from under me of being a good fiance. Jeez.
It was huge.
Did you really lose the keys to everything?
What?
Did she? She's accusing you of lying. She's saying
No, she. I was turning over my apartment. I flipped the bed over.
It was in her. It was in her bag. Over. Huh? In her bag.
Oh
she literally just they're in her belt bag. Where she just grabbed my keys, and she said she was so tired that she literally grabbed my keys. Oh, these are Carter's keys. I don't need these, and put them in her belt bag and went off to war.
Well, thank you for doing your part then, and having the the intentions of doing good things. I'll save my movie review for Thursday. If you want to hear what Hank and Max Tepper thought of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, you can tune in on Thursday. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Do you hear that too? Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. Of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. For Carter Yates and Vianney Moreno, I'm Greg Tepper. We'll see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.
Bye.